Hello, my name is Miles Robinson, and my video log is called Football and Food. I'll be giving you a brief introduction on who I am and covering a variety of topics today around food and soccer and my experience in St. Louis, Missouri, watching the USA Women's National Team play. Pretty excited about that, giving my review both in and outside the stadium and overall experience at the USA game. So let's get to it, y'all. Please like and subscribe, and give general comments. Please leave them as well, and get back to you guys. So, yeah, I'm from Austin, Texas, and just recently moved to the Denton County area. I've played soccer all my life, growing up around 5 and 6. I was very little, so I didn't know much about the game to college years, where I really got into watching the game beyond just playing it. Spending days and days in watching soccer, watching the biggest teams in the world play, all the way from the USA League, MLS, to England, Italian, even the Dutch league. So I was very well versed in soccer. So, I have great knowledge about the game and basically understanding where the teams are and the importance of the game. So yeah, today we're going to talk about the women's national team versus the men's national team. So there's a huge difference between the women's and the men's national team in my eyes as a fan experience. So whenever I went to see the USA men's national team versus Mexico in San Antonio, Alamodome Stadium, it's a huge difference walking all the way up to the stadium and walking inside the stadium, and just overall my experience as a fan viewing the game. So there was, I don't know how many people there were, but everyone from the USA side was chanting USA, 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 and chanting all different types of chants that I'm sure everyone is a soccer fan knows about them. So the atmosphere coming out of the stadium before I got into the stadium was amazing. And just seeing everybody involved and everybody happy, everybody actually wanting to root for Team USA, and no matter what the result was, actually being there, being present, and rooting for everybody. So a halftime experience, constantly bantering back and forth. And if you guys don't know what bantering is, it's friendly rivalry chat in a sometimes it can be derogative, but most times it's just rivaling, talking about the other team in a swag type way. Like, we're better than you guys, and Dos a zero and everything. So there's a huge difference between just the fan experience from the USA Women's National Team and the men's. And this comes from when I actually visited the St. Louis game when they played New Zealand. It was actually at the Cardinal Stadium, and just going up from when the Uber driver dropped us off to all the way up to the stadium, inside the gates, and to where we're seated. We're seated at the Champions Club, so it's about maybe 3 levels up from the ground floor. So we were in pretty sweet suites, and just observing the game from there. From when the game started to ending, obviously a lot happened, but the ending score was 5-0. And the first time I sat in my chair, and pre-game, they were saying the players from both teams, but pretty much USA team. They're naming Carly Lloyd, Alex Morgan, and all the other players of the U.S. state national team. So, as a fan, I was pretty excited to actually see them, not super up close, but pretty close enough to be wow. They aren't just ants; they're people. So, that experience was amazing. And from watching the NWSL recently, and maybe a year or so, it's pretty awesome to see them up close. But I feel like people were there just to socialize. They weren't really as into the game as they were at the men's game. You know, fathers would bring their daughters in to the stadium and be maybe their first experience, so they didn't know what was actually going on. But it was a huge deal. You're watching your national team play is a huge deal, and I feel like they weren't really there for the game, there for understanding the importance of the game and how important this is to see your team dominate so much and be ready for when the big thing happens, when the World Cup happens. And I just think it's a huge difference from watching the men's play to the women's in that respect. Also, in terms of watching them up close, I've seen them on TV, and from TV you can kind of see everything from a distance, so you can kind of just observe and just kind of pick apart the game in some aspects, but seeing them in close in person, actually see that real life, I guess, the real technicality that they have, and the real presence that each player of the USA Women's National Team have on the field, and with each other as well. It ended up being a rout, but we bossed the game. I would say the closest teams in the men's game compared to USA Women's game is Barcelona and Liverpool. It's a mix between the two. They had the silky passing, maybe one touch, two touch passing. And they also had the pressing identity where they lost the ball. As soon as they lost the ball, they press it back within like 5 seconds. So it was pretty neat to see just them up close. You see them on the TV, but you don't really understand as much as you see it in person. Just all the details that they went through just to close the other team down, prevent them from chances. Now, I don't believe New Zealand are in the World Cup Group E. They have a weaker group: Canada, Cameroon, and the Netherlands. So they should get out pretty easy. But we were just a whole other level for them, and I don't think they were ready for it. But it'll be a decent game because maybe they have their B team with them or anything. But it'll be a decent game when they get out of the group stage. And now our group, we have Thailand, Chile, and Sweden. And my predictions is we'll get out of the group pretty easily, a couple 5 and 6 zeros. Sweden will be the toughest game. I'm thinking 2-1 or 2-0. But I could be wrong. It could be a 4-0. Just depends on how we're playing and the team set up in the day. I'm a huge fan of Kristen Press as well. And I would love to see her start in the bigger games, just Sweden and maybe even Japan if we meet them that far into the group's knockout rounds. Also, in terms of just the ratings, I did a little research, and the average attendance and average rating for the MLS is about 361,000 to 394,000, and the average rating for the USA Women's National Team and for the NWSL, I would say is 136,000. So it's a little bit of a jump from where they're normally at for the USA Women's professional soccer league, women's professional soccer league, from about 66,000. 66,000 is their average viewing, but the highest was 136. So there is some viewership, but nothing compared to the scheme and scale of MLS. And that could be because of teams. There aren't as many teams as in WPSL versus MLS. MLS is getting to be eventually. I think it'll be 30 teams. And Austin has one, and some other cities are in talks to having other teams as well. So this could be the actual amount of teams and the interest level of the teams in the league. It could be just the players, average players, have more of a presence in the cities, and they could just be bigger names, and maybe the NWSL doesn't have as many big names besides the ones from the national team. But it also could be just the broadcasting, because the NWSL, their broadcasting is only through Yahoo Sports. That's it, Yahoo Sports. There's no ESPN. There's no Fox Sports. Fox Sports and ESPN only cover the World Cup, Women's World Cup. So just that in itself, because broadcasting and TV rights bring revenue for the organizations and brings it for the whole National Women's Soccer Association. So those are big, those are key. And I can't stress enough that people won't be able to watch it if they don't know where it's at and how to stream it. If you can only stream it on Yahoo Sports, but looking at Yahoo Sports, you have to actually click the sport. And then some of the games show up on there as well. So for people who don't really use Yahoo Sports that much for their news, it's hard to actually see the games because they don't know about it. I had to look into it because I didn't know whether we'd be playing. I just found them, Yahoo Sports, by looking at soccer, and they had all the games, both men and women. But that's all I could find, really. Reddit was good. It had all the soccer games, Reddit soccer streams, but now I think some organization closed them. Copyright issues and all that. So yeah, just being able to watch a women's soccer league game is huge for the organizations and the teams that play with it, teams that go with it. So being able to do that is great. Being able to watch your team play and getting into it is a huge deal when it comes to fanship and viewership. Viewership also makes your league better. It brings revenue for your league as well. If no one views your league, then pretty much playing for nobody. And the stands also, people who actually come to the games makes a huge difference as well, because they're the ones that bring in revenue. I recently found that I think Juventus has in May 24th, they had something where they had previously broken a record for most viewerships inside a stadium, from 14,000 to now about 36,000 people actually in the stadium. So that is huge for internationally and for women's leagues internationally. But the catch is all the tickets were free. So where's the balance between actually making money for your club versus having viewers versus just having viewers, but everyone's free. It kind of hurts you a little bit. Now, if your goal is just to just get viewers, then maybe ticket sales can be cheap to get those viewers in, those 36,000 viewers in. But I thought that was pretty interesting as well. And finally, I would say my time in Missouri was fun. It was great, and being able to see the USA Women's National Team play was pretty awesome. Probably my top 5 best soccer moments. Be able to see all the USA women's soccer players play. It's pretty great. It's pretty great to see Alex Morgan. It's pretty great to see Morgan Bryan, and pretty great to see Ali Krieger. Ali Krieger also is a player that's underrated, and she should get more caps. And it's also great to see the younger generation of U.S. soccer just take over the older generation, because everyone knows, I think, do some research on this as well, but average, you have 4 years to play in a World Cup. And then once you're in that World Cup, the cycle repeats itself again. And some of the older players who played in that first World Cup, going to 4 years later, they might be reduced to maybe a bench player. Look at Carly Lloyd. She got some minutes in, but she did not start. So it's different for the older players. So you need more younger generation players and need that system to repeat itself. Because if you can get players in from 17, even 15, to play now, it builds your brand, and it builds chemistry, and it builds their recognition, and for people to be the next face of the U.S. soccer, so men and women. So that is probably their goal, as well as an organization. And the food in Missouri was pretty great. I went to this barbecue place, Sugar Fire Smokehouse, and they had one of the best barbecues I've had. And they had good sausage, brisket. They had this thing called a pork belly. It was pretty much a hush puppy with sausage inside of it. They had this green jalapeno dip, which I didn't really care for, but the pork belly was amazing. And their sauce was pretty great as well. But for me, a good definition of barbecue is to be able to be good enough without the sauce. Also, the clientele, for me, makes a difference as well. So having different clientele there, having a variety of people come, gives you a better judgment of, especially barbecue, of what's good or what's not good. But yeah, I'd all 10 out of 10 for that barbecue place, except for maybe the chicken. For the turkey was about 7, but everything else, the beans, the corn was amazing. It's probably the most interesting corn I've had. And yeah, that's my time. And thank you guys for liking and subscribing to this video, and leave your comments below about anything related to soccer, women's, men's national team, your experiences at games, and what do you think the future for U.S. soccer